Okay, you guys, I have the Ruger LCP here, and let's say that you bought the Ruger LCP with the 6-round magazine, and let's say you're waiting to buy more magazines, but you're carrying this for the time being. There's a couple ways and things you can do to have more ammunition on you should something happen where this magazine isn't going to be good enough for you. It's good to use your ammo wisely. It's good to practice self-defense scenarios and things like that, but I'm just giving you an idea for somebody that just has the gun and the one magazine. And this weapon is cleared here. Nothing in the chamber, nothing in the mag well, and magazine is empty. I want to show you a couple ideas. One idea for extra ammo is this is a pellet pouch. These are used to hold 500 pellets or more for air guns and stuff, and it's Velcro. And you could put this on your right hip or something like that, and you can carry the extra rounds right here. And typically what you would do is when you're loading this here, you just grab them out of here, so that way it holds the bullets for you so you can load the magazine. So you're going to have spare ammunition on you even though you just got this one magazine that came with it. So you got spare ammunition here. Another idea is a chest belt. These are very inexpensive. Some of the cheapest ones you can get for like $5, like this one here. And what you do is you wear this on your high chest and with a t-shirt and a jacket, or even underneath your t-shirt on your bare skin if you wanted to. And what you do is you arrange it and you pull it to the side where the bullets aren't showing if you're carrying it outside your t-shirt. So you'd pull it this direction, and then this would be exposed right here, and it would just look something like a back belt. But what you would do with this is you would put the bullets in, the 20 of them or whatever you wanted, like this, and make sure that this part here is on the bottom and this part's on the top. And then what you simply do is when the belt's wrapped tight around your chest, what you do is you just simply take this finger and you push and it comes right up. So some people were saying, well, you just leave it out like this so you can pull it out, but it's really not that stable, and it's really not meant for 380 ACP, so you want to push it down flush and just go like this. So you're touching your body, you grab that one round and then put it in your mag right here. So once again, you got both of these items are probably going to cost you what, maybe $5 or something like that. So very cheap. So both of these probably like around $10 investment just to get you having some extra ways to carry ammo. Now you could carry in your pocket, but this is much higher and it's easier access. This is just a way to carry ammunition until you can go with that next paycheck or whatever and go buy that other magazine. So I want to set up another thing for you here, a scenario of you have, let's say you have these items here that I was telling you about, the belt or this one or even both. And the scenario is you have 7 rounds because you have 6 here and you got 1 in the chamber, so that's 7 total rounds. The scenario here is a defensive situation where, see if I can bring these guys in here. Okay, you have a defensive situation. Okay, most private citizen defense situations usually it's no more than probably 2 that you're going to have to face off with, but sometimes there's 3, sometimes more, and stuff like that. Usually in most private citizen defense situations, usually just having the gun on you, pointing their direction, usually everybody takes off. Usually one shot fired, everybody takes off. Okay, but assuming that they don't take off and they want to shoot it out with you, the most important thing you have to do with that Ruger LCP, since you only have 7 rounds, is you want to focus on only one target at a time, but you want to get to cover as you're engaging the first target. So what you would do is you would fire 1 or 2 rounds at that first target and you would go seek cover. And then while you're behind cover, while you're behind cover now, you still have ammunition in that firearm. And most of the time, usually the perps aren't going to come chase you. Usually they'll stay right there or they'll run away. But let's say one guy wanted to come up and chase you, you still got ammunition where you can take him out coming around the corner. So you want to get to cover, but not just cover, but you want to try to extract yourself from that situation. So here you are, cover. If you know you can get to other cover that's further back, you can go ahead and do it. So we're not talking about a police officer chasing criminals here. We're talking about self-defense, saving your life, and getting out of there. So unless you feel that you're a sheepdog and you want to go after these guys and play the part of the police officer, but it's not necessary to do that, though, if you don't want to. So the worst situation that could happen is, let's say that you pray and spray, okay, and you do something like some guys do that they shouldn't do, is fire 2 shots at each target because you were trained on the range to do that. But a lot of that training on the range wasn't good training because of the fact that you can only kill one person at one time. So you immediately want to get to cover as you're shooting that first target, okay? So it's just the opposite of competition shooting. You know, competition shooting, they come out to get the first one, second one, third one. You're going in reverse because you're not going to the bad guys, you're going away from the bad guys. Law enforcement goes to the bad guys. Private citizen goes away from the bad guys. So let's say that you are unexperienced shooter and you make the fatal mistake of just blowing all your ammunition because you're praying and spraying. I fire 2 rounds at him, 2 rounds at him, 2 rounds at him, but not getting to cover like I should. So I've just blown out 6 rounds, right? Saved the 7th round, because that 7th round that's in the chamber now is going to be, the Ruger LCP won't lock back on the last round. So if you fired 6 shots, okay, if you fired 6 shots and you're gonna reload this mag right here with that pouch or that chest thing I showed you, you still have 1 round that you can defend yourself with if somebody should come around the corner, if you did shoot 6 rounds. Now, you shouldn't shoot 6 rounds, but I'm saying if you ever had a predicament where you did, then what you could do is you could have the firearm that will fire without the mag, and that's one of the benefits about this pistol, is you don't have, when the magazine is out, it doesn't make the trigger so that you can't pull it or anything like the Burst of Thunder and other firearms like that. So there's good and bad about that. But the thing is that you could still have a round in the chamber and still pull the trigger and have 6 rounds that you fired out of here. So you got that last round, the guy comes around the corner. If there's one guy that just, 2 guys took off, one guy decides that he's going to come after you, and the other are wounded or running away, then you've got that last round that you can shoot if you need to, but you have to put the firearm somewhere, like in your pocket or in the holster, so that you can load this magazine here. So as you're loading this magazine, you're peering around the corner to see if he's coming. If he isn't coming, you load this up and get some more ammunition in here. But if he is, then you've got your firearm, and you can pull this out and fire that last shot, and hopefully that's going to cover you. So there's a lot of ways to think about this, but the whole objective is this: anytime you get in a defense situation, the most important thing is shooting to get to cover. That's the very first thing in your mindset that you want to think. You want to think, number 1, I'm going to get to cover, but if I feel there's a threat, I'm going to engage that threat, but I'm still going to get to cover. So, and this might play out different ways, but the thing is that you don't want to spend a lot of time out in the open here. And the good news about it is most gunfights, private citizen type gunfights, the threats and stuff, usually what happens is you're usually out of time before you're out of ammunition, which means that these perps right here, the whole gunfight's over with in like 3 seconds. I mean, it's that fast, usually, according to videos and stats and stuff like that. So you run out of time before you run out of ammunition usually, and they're probably not going to know that you're empty. So that's one of the reasons why low capacity magazines and small pistols, that some guys like these guys here, you know, for one thing, they don't know what kind of pistol you have. For another thing, they don't know if you're empty either. So, you know, like I'm saying, if a guy's really dedicated, he's going to try to pursue you behind cover. But if you're behind cover, you have the advantage of waiting for him to come to you rather than you going to him. So that's what I'm saying. So, and usually most gunfights are very close range, within 5 to 7 yards. They last about 3 seconds, and usually after the first shot's fired, everybody scatters. That's just pretty much stats on how it goes. Are there some rare exceptions to that rule? Yes. But typically, a private citizen defense situation scenario is much different. And it's much better if you're trained too, because if you're a trained private citizen compared to the ordinary private citizen, you have a much better chance of surviving too by not doing stupid things in your tactics. One of the best tactics, you know, everybody thinks tactics is doing stuff, you know, doing cool stuff with your gun and fast reloads and all this other stuff. And that's all fine and dandy, you know, for cool tactics, but the real cool tactics are staying alive, okay? That's the real cool tactic, which means cover is a cool tactic, but it's underrated. Cover is underrated as a cool tactic. Have you ever heard of a competition shooter getting a trophy or winning a contest because he used cover properly? No. No, it's never going to happen. Nobody's going to come up and pat the back of a competition shooter, say, "Oh my gosh, you're the best guy as far as using cover. I've never seen anybody use cover like that in my whole life." No, what did they say? They come up and say, "Oh my gosh, you were so fast. I mean, you just rocked it." You know what I mean? But the thing is that we have to understand that cover is underemphasized usually in the shooting community, and speed is usually overemphasized. So underemphasis is cover and getting to safety, whereas speed and being out in the open is emphasized more, and it shouldn't be. So we need to focus on things that keep us alive, not things that make us look cool. Because it doesn't really look cool if I fire a shot at this guy and these two run away and I'm around the corner. You know, it doesn't look Hollywood type thing. Like I'm not out in the open and I'm not praying and spraying, blowing all these guys away, saving the day or anything like that. But I am behind cover and I'm staying alive. And, staying alive, you want to really know what's cool, you know, as far as being impressed with things, is staying alive. That's what's cool. So be cool, stay alive, and think about your tactics and how you do stuff. If you're at the range, you always want to have one piece of cover. You always want to have one piece of cover if you're at the range, because you want to develop a mindset of getting to cover while you shoot that first target. Whether he's paper or steel, you're going to engage that first target while you're going to cover. You're not going to shoot this guy and then run around out here and take him out. You're going to seek that cover and apply your tactics from cover behind here. So give yourself the advantage where you don't need as much ammo, where you can save that ammo for a dangerous situation and survive. So this is only what I'm recommending. Most of this is for is you bought your firearm, okay, you bought your Ruger LCP, you're a new person, but you can't afford another magazine right now. But something happens tomorrow and you have 7 rounds, okay? Something's going to happen tomorrow. That's the thing I'm talking about. Whereas if you have a quick $5 or $10 and you can get something like this or something like this instead of paying that $37 for that for this magazine right here, can run about $30 to $37, okay? So I'm just giving you some options, so if something should happen, that at least you can get this kind of gear right here and get this ready to go, so that your Ruger LCP tactical and you're ready to go. You're ready to rock if something should happen. Even though it's not the best equipment, it'll get you by. And I'll show you what you're going to be getting here. In the future, you're probably going to end up getting maybe another 6-round magazine here, okay? Or you'll get one of these Ruger LCP2 magazines. So this is 7 plus 1, that gives you 8. This is 6 plus 1, gives you 7. So we got 7. We got 8 total here, and this is a 10 round magazine, which gives you 11. So you want to practice with all these magazines in your Ruger LCP. And this is a Pro Mag, so you want to maybe use this last. It's an aftermarket magazine, and it's reliable so far, but the thing is, you don't want to depend on aftermarket magazines for the most of the reliability that you have with your firearm. These are just kind of like a backup. And you want to train with these magazines so that you want to train with these magazines so that you know how to use them, and not just use them, but if something happens, you know how to clear malfunctions with them and stuff like that. Like for instance, this one's going to lock back, whereas the other two don't lock back, because Ruger LCPs don't lock back on the last round. So notice that you're hitting the mag release and you can't get it out, okay? So what you're going to have to do with this one is, sometimes these are a little sticky, you're going to have to rip it out like that, and then insert your new magazine like that. But you have to practice with these 3. You can't just practice with the little one and not practice with these other 2, which are actually a little better as far as being able to get a grasp on them and giving you a better grip. But that doesn't mean that you won't have a good grip with this little magazine, because this little magazine, what you do is you take your finger and you wrap it right here, and what that does is that prevents you from hitting the mag release right here. So this will work fine with your finger tucked under like that, and this is the grip that you want. You want this combat grip here, which is like this. Like I said in some videos, you don't want the thumb forward grip like this. You could take it out of battery, and stuff like that. So do whatever you want. If you want to do it like this or like this, I like it this way because I'm really quick. I can, once that magazine's in, I'm already there. I don't have to try to do that piecing the puzzle thing. And the firearm will shoot straight this way. A lot of people are saying if you don't do this, it'll go this way, but that's not true. It depends on how good your grip is. So if your grip is nice and tight like this, it's not going to wander on you or anything like that, because your finger is going to be in the trigger guard too. So you're clamping down like a nutcracker. But anyway, so this would be what it would look like for you when you first buy it new, and then you're going to be able to get a better grip, like on this one here. And these all run about $30 some here too anyway. These 2 magazines I showed you, the full-size one is probably maybe $14-15, that 10 round one, but that's Pro Mag. The factory ones are probably going to cost you a little bit, so $30-35 for these 2. Notice this one here, I get a little bit better of a grip here, so I can draw it out of the holster a lot quicker if I'm open carrying, like on a hip or something, or in a pocket. It just gives you a little bit more to pull it out with. And then here's the cheapest magazine right here, is Pro Mag, and that gives you 10 plus 1. And like I said, don't start with this one. You'll see guys all the time on YouTube videos, guys that are maybe they are in gangs, I don't know, but they got the big sticks for everything. So do I. But what they'll do is they'll show the aftermarket sticks inside the gun to start things off, and I don't think that's the best thing to do. I think it's better to start off with your factory mags and just use the aftermarket ones for backup should something happen to the magazines, because they're not made as well. The feed lips aren't as good. They're a little thinner. It's just it's just not going to hold up as much as say your factory magazine. That goes for every kind of gun manufacturer, like Glock and CZ and all them other ones. You don't want to be messing around with aftermarket magazines. The only purpose of an aftermarket magazine is pretty much just for a backup, so that you have something in a worst case scenario, but you still want to use it to make sure it functions. So you function check all 3 of these magazines, make sure they work. Practice ejecting, practice reloading, practice drawing, practice where you carry if you have the room. Like for instance, this one will stick out if you want to start with that one. So anyway, think tactically about this and practice. Do your dry fire practice in the house, do your draws. If if you want to see my draws, I do have a video. If you look hard enough, you'll find it. The concealed and open carry Ruger LCP, where I draw and I show you how fast you can be with these little guns. The reason why these little guns are fast is because they're lightweight, and you don't have to clear the length of the muzzle or the length of the barrel. The length of the barrel is so short, the travel distance to get out of the holster is literally nothing, because once you pull on the firearm, it's almost already out, and you can go straight towards the target like this, whereas the other ones you have a little bit more travel. So this one's lightning fast, you can get it out of the holster quicker. And then you always want to make sure that when it's back in the holster, that the middle finger right here, is that middle finger? Yeah, the middle finger right here, that when you're putting the firearm back in the holster, that your middle finger doesn't want to push that ledge on that holster, because sometimes people will have holsters where the firearm's like this and where they're grabbing. Now notice where I'm grabbing now. I'm grabbing right here, so I don't have a full grip. To test a full grip and to test positioning of a firearm in a holster, you always want to push the firearm until it bumps up against your middle finger, and then that's the very furthest you should go. You should not go any further than that, because you can't draw the firearm. So you want to be tactical about this stuff. You want to be tactical and fast and smart about how you do things. So I'm going to show you a gallon holster that I have, and I'm going to show you and demonstrate what I'm talking about here. So on this holster here, this holster is really nice because you can flip it around. You can flip the firearm any way you want. You can have it this direction. You can have it this direction. You can have it open carry. You can have it right in here, concealed carry in the waistband. So I know it looks like just a simple nothing, you know, it's just basically two straps with a gap in it, but it is pretty nice, and I like it. Typically what I'll do is I'll carry it with a cant like this, and what I'll do is I'll go in so that my middle finger touches, and I'll stop. So right there is where I got it set. Notice that my middle finger now can grab the firearm here, and I'm high up on the firearm as I can get, so that I get a good grip when I draw and I pull it out of the holster, and it's canted and it stays really nice that way. So that would be your hip carry right there. And then if you're going into a place that, say, non-permissive environment, all you have to do is this. Take this thing, put it somewhere else in your pocket or whatever, and look. Doesn't look like a gun holster, does it? So very sneaky, very stealthy, very tactical. So, but anyway, thank you very much for watching, you guys.